Hey everyone, Erin from the Impatient Gardener here, and these are all my favorite things that I use to start seeds. But this is all you need to start seeds. So I have been growing plants from seed for many years now, and all the things I just threw on the floor are all the equipment that I like the most. I found these things, I've invested in this equipment. But if you are new to starting seeds, I don't recommend you buy any of these things, with the possible exception of one of them that I'll share with you later, because these all cost money. And I don't want you to make an investment in seed starting equipment unless you find that seed starting is for you. And seed starting is not for everyone. It is really fun in the beginning and really a pain in the butt in the end. Now, I like doing it because I can grow varieties that I wouldn't be able to find from plants. I can grow plants very inexpensively, so I can fill up my garden with all kinds of wonderful things. And I enjoy the challenge. But there are downsides to growing from seed. It's time consuming. You can't go on a vacation. It takes a lot of work. And come April, at least for me, I wonder what the heck I was thinking when I grew all these plants from seed. So starting plants from seed indoors, and I'm not including like direct sowing stuff or winter sowing, which is kind of a different topic, is not for everyone. So try it out before you go invest in all this stuff that I'm going to show you. That said, I love all this. I feel like I have really zeroed in on the stuff that I like, so I wanted to share it with you. If you are just starting out, I encourage you to get creative. This is the easiest part of gardening, to get very creative and inventive with recycled items or free items. Honestly, you need something that holds soil that you can poke a hole in the bottom, and that's pretty much it. Beyond that, you do need some seed starting mix. I think this is non-negotiable, especially if you're new. Yes, there are ways you can make your own seed starting mix. I mean, if you want to do that, go for it. But especially if you're starting out, and certainly for me, I just buy some seed starting mix. I am not overly fussy about my seed starting mix, mostly because I can't be. It's not super easy to find by me. So I have my favorites, and I think as you grow, you will find your favorites too. I have a couple that, no, just one that I absolutely won't use. Miracle Girl. But beyond that, find one that you like, play around with them, try out a few of them, pick one that you like and that you can pick up locally without a lot of hassle. Everything I talk about today is going to be linked in the description below, including some other things that I use for seed starting that I'm not going to talk about in this video. And as a means of disclosure, I want to say that some of these things have been sent to me by companies over the years, but in every single case, I have either already purchased it before the companies found me, or I have since purchased additional ones after. So everything you see here, I have spent my own money on and purchased at some point in this whole process. I used to be a fanatic soil blocker. I believe that soil blocking is the best way to start your seeds. I don't do it anymore. And I don't do it anymore because honestly, I find it very time consuming to mix up your own soil blocking mix, make the soil blocks. I just don't find that I want to spend that kind of time doing things anymore. So I'm not going to cover soil blocking here, but I really do think that soil blocking is the superior way to start your seeds. So I will post a link to a blog post that I did about growing in soil blocks. I just personally don't do it anymore because these days I'm kind of all about speed. So the first thing I want to talk about are trays. And what you'll notice in my trays is that all of them are very rugged, sturdy plastic. I got very sick of using flimsy trays that broke. I have enough guilt about using plastic to begin with. Most of this stuff is not recyclable. Black plastic is not recyclable. My theory was I wanted to buy really high quality stuff and just use that forever. And when I'm done using it, I will give it to somebody else because it will outlast me, which might be a sad state of affairs. But okay, first thing up is a 60 cell tray. This is the Charles Dowding's tray. So Charles Dowding, you might follow his channel or follow him in general. Famous no-dig gardener. He is sort of the godfather of no-dig gardening. He grows all kinds of things from seed. And a great company, a small family-owned company called All About the Garden, got in touch with Charles Dowding and wanted to carry his seed trays here in the US. And as far as I know, they are the only place you can get these. So we've got a couple of them from him. But what I like about these is they have this really big hole on the bottom. Now your finger doesn't quite fit in these. There's a popper, but I can't find it because when I threw everything on the floor at the beginning of this video, I lost it. Anyway, you don't really need it. You can get them out without that, but I did buy the little popper to push them out. Anyway, these work really good. This is kind of a size I will use to start slower growing seeds in these individual cells. This is a 40 cell tray from the same company with bigger holes on the bottom. Again, super sturdy, although I did break the corner. I wonder how many things I broke when I threw it on the floor. I see I did break a little corner of it here, but they're not flimsy. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing that's gonna, you know, you can carry these with one hand. It's not going to flop over on you. Bigger cells, so this is either something to bump plants up into. More than likely, this is where I'll start faster growing. These are smaller than your average 10 by 20 trays. The regular like nursery trays that you find are called 10 by 20 trays. These are smaller than that. So I wanted to get, these are actually trays that are also from All About the Garden. Last year I found some on Amazon I didn't like as much. These are quite nice, and they actually have like little ridges on them here that kind of hold the tray up a little bit. I exclusively bottom water plants, so it's really nice to have that ability. Both of these fit perfectly in there. I also really like to broadcast seeds. So what I do is I will take one of these little trays and I will just plant a bunch of seeds in there and then prick them out and put them into these individual cells. It's a very fast way to do it. And then you don't waste, I hate empty cells, so then you don't waste empty cells on seeds that haven't germinated. So I quite like these little tiny ones. I also have a larger size of those that's like this. All of these have holes in the bottom, so all of these sit in another tray. I do have some sturdy 10 by 20 bottom watering trays that don't have holes in them that I will put those up. This is a very specialist contraption. Now I got a new one this year because some of my cells, I used one of these for ages. Some of the cells were thrown away as somebody else was cleaning up. But this is what I start my sweet peas in. This is called the Maxi Root Trainer. I could not find this specific one for many years, so when I found it, I hopped on it. This is an 8-inch deep one. It's actually sold to start trees in, to be honest, but I love this one for starting sweet peas. They fold up like a little sandwich, so this is brand new. I haven't unfolded all of them yet, but they fold up kind of like a, you know, little sandwich. This is pretty flimsy plastic, so that isn't great, but there is nothing else like this on the market except for shorter versions of this, which I really like the long root run on these. So you fold these all up, you set them in the tray like this, they hold themselves together. They do not snap tightly together. Some people think they're broken because they don't snap tightly together. They don't do that. When you wedge them all in here, you have to use all of them. When you wedge them in the tray, they come in, they stay shut, and then as the plants grow, the roots just hold everything together. And then when you want to take them out of there, you just open them up like this and slide them out. Perfect for sweet peas. For anything that doesn't want root disturbance, be perfect for that. An investment, but I had my other one for like, I don't know, probably 8 years before, and I still could have used it if some of the trays hadn't been thrown away. Now, in terms of potting things up to bigger sizes, I reuse a lot of my nursery pots. I save all the 3 to 4 inch pots that I get, well, not all, because I don't need them all anymore. I save many of those. But sometimes I just want a cell that's a little bit smaller than that, because that's more size than I need and more soil than I need. So what I've been using now are the Epic seed starting trays. This is from Epic Gardening. And these are the 4 cells. I prefer the 4 cells because I feel like by the time things are ready to move up to this size, their 6 cell is too similar in size to what I'm already starting plants in. So that's not a big enough move for me because I don't want to have to pot things up 3 or 4 times. So we've got the regular one and the deep one here. You can see the difference on it. I just ordered a whole bunch of these deep ones this year, and now that I see how deep they are, they're really deep. It's going to take a lot of soil, but this will be really good. Like, I think there's a lot of, especially vegetables, I would be able to bump up to this size and not have to move on any further beyond this. What I very much like about these is that these are, I don't know if you can see this. Where can we get this? Over here? Backwards. There we go. These are just have holes on the bottom. And when you put these in a bottom tray, the soil doesn't fall out because you kind of pack the soil in there. Then the roots hold it all together. So this is really good for bottom watering. Love these. These are the sturdiest, like they're expensive. And I can tell you why, because like these are super, super solid. So big fan of these two things. This big mother is a giant tray from, I think it's Greenhouse Mega Store, but the link will be below. I love this tray. So I start all my seeds on a 4-foot rack. So it's got the adjustable shelves on it. I buy the cheap ones from Amazon. Also, I'll link that what I use below, but they're all the same as long as you can adjust the racks. And because those racks are just wire, I like to have a big tray on there. Now, I can put these things all directly on this tray if I want without having to use a separate 10 by 20 tray on there. But also this just helps contain the mess. You can actually see there's quite a bit of mess contained on this one already. These again are super sturdy things, and I really like these for just keeping the dirt controlled basically. Humidity domes. I like this. I've got the tall ones and the short ones. I have a few of these tall ones, which I kind of like, because that way if I'm using like a taller tray or something, this will fit right in there. And these have vents on the top too, but I have a lot of the other ones. Again, there are super cheap ones, and then there's a little bit more expensive ones that are still kind of flimsy, but a little bit more sturdy and will last longer. So I try to aim. A lot of those things I try to just buy in bulk. So I have like 10 of them, and then that's all I'll need forever. Now, this is a seed starting system, and I think I've shown you this before. This is Park Seeds Biodome. And this is one of the things that if you are just going to start a few seeds, or you are new to seed starting and you want something that you want to go a little bit beyond like toilet paper rolls and yogurt cups and stuff, this is a pretty good system. This is called their Biodome. This is the same size as these other trays, comes with a super sturdy bottom tray. Then you have this styrofoam bit with holes in it. And what they send with the kit are little, they're like little, I don't even know what the heck these things are. They're kind of like little sponges. They hold together. They look like this. You pop them in the holes. And then you water this, and then you just set your seeds in there. And I couldn't believe how well these worked last year. I was shocked. I had a ton of success with these. So I would say, and I use these. I have 2 of these, and I like these. And these come, actually the best part of these is the humidity dome, because this is a super sturdy one with 2 vents on the top. It fits this, but I also use them on these other trays because they happen to fit that tray perfectly. So this is a pretty slick system if you're ready to go beyond just basics. And I felt like seeds germinated super quickly in it. I had nothing but success with this last year. I love my soil bin tray, whatever you want to call this thing. I got mine from Johnny's Seeds many years ago. I think a lot of places sell these now. If you don't want to buy one, Laura from Garden Answer did a tutorial on how to build one. But also you don't need something that's got the nice lower rim if you don't want that. A lot of people are using cement mixing bins from the big box store, whatever. This is something I put my seed starting mix in, moisten it, and then put it in my trays. Heat mats, very helpful, especially for me because I start seeds in my basement. Probably, one of those things that's early on in your process is maybe worth investing in. This is just a 2-tray one, so this is probably the first one I ever bought, probably 12 years ago. I have 2 other ones. I actually prefer the ones that are 4 feet long because I can stick 4 trays along those. And I don't usually need all that heat mat space at the same time, except, there's that 6 weeks before your last frost period where it seems like tons of seeds want to be started at that time. So during that period, I do have a lot of trays going, so I do have all my heat mats going. Basically, you use a heat mat until the seeds germinate, like most of them. I sometimes wait till all of them in a tray do, but most of your seeds have germinated, and then you take them off the heat mat. All right, lights. lights are a huge topic for seed starting, and I'm not going to get into it because this is a video about my favorite stuff, and this is my favorite light. This is an Active Grow T5 LED light. I have used LED lights exclusively for several years now. I do think they're better. I do think they're more convenient. I know they are more efficient, and I know they are not as hot. You do not have to move them up and down like you do with fluorescents. You do not need to grow with LEDs. I prefer growing with LEDs. Active Grow is the brand that I've used for many years now. One of the things that I like about this Active Grow line is that there's a whole bunch of stuff about the light spectrum and how it affects seeds and all that stuff. And I don't have a lot of patience for learning about that. So they've sort of taken the work out of it for you. And I just buy this one, and I think it's called Sun something. I don't know. I will put the link to this one in the description for you so you can know what it is. I will just say that I've had a lot of success with them, so that's why I like them. Now, I think that a light is the one thing you should think about investing in if you have a limited amount of money to spend and you're new to seed starting. It is still worth buying a light. Okay, and then with lights, you need a timer. If you're going to have lights, you got to have a timer. I finally found a timer that I really like that is has a timed side and an always on side. And I like that because I can plug the heat mats into the always on side, have the lights on a timer for 16 hours, sometimes 14 hours, 18 hours. It depends where I'm at in the growth cycle for how long I set that on. But you want that heat mat on 24/7. So that way you can run both off the same power strip. Other than that, for seed starting, there's a few little ancillary things. I like this specific ice cream scoop I got for soil. Very inexpensive. I like the racks I use. I have my racks wrapped in Mylar fabric because I grow in my very dark basement, and I feel like the reflective nature of that helps the light bounce around and maximize my light. And then I take two 4-foot racks and I sandwich them together so they're actually like a closed system. Oh, I have a little clip-on fan. I'll put links to that stuff in there, but that stuff I don't think is brand specific. I think you can just find one that you find somewhere, whatever you like the looks of or whatever you think looks good. I don't think you need to worry about specific ones on that, but these are the specific things that I like to use for seed starting. Okay, thank you for watching. Happy seed starting if you're starting seeds.